Last generation made the choice.com, the Republican candidate for governor.
Have sexual relations with
I realize that this is something he isn't
We're not going to be able to solve our problems if we get distracted by sideshows and carnival barkers.
One Republican, one Democrat, and you discuss the issues that matter in today's local, state, national, and global politics. Hosted by Steve Hickson with co-hosts John Stanberry and Franklin Chansey. This is Backfire.
Good morning again to another edition of Backfire. Well, we have an exciting lineup today. It's going to be called the Republican Bash. Mr. John Franklin.
Oh, my goodness.
Franklin Chansey will not be here today, so it's John Stanberry, Jeff Miller, and Tom Cassada. We're here for you this morning. All right, the morning job people are with us this morning.
Franklin's here in spirit. He's here in spirit.
He didn't even tell us where he's going to be. He just told us he wasn't going to be. Oh, work.
I did say
work.
Work.
No, I don't think so.
Work.
I think it's spring break somewhere over there where he lives.
Skiing on a mountain somewhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Welcome. There's probably a whole lot we can talk about, but I want to start out with something that kind of caught my eye the other day. Is the Cleveland High School students slated for a walkout today. What's the opinions of the kids getting involved in walkouts at school?
I don't believe they would be doing that if they didn't think the school system was going to allow them to do it.
That's exactly right. What's your opinions?
I spoke to one the other day, and when we had the safety security over there meeting, and one of them came to me and spoke out and said that they'd rather be more involved. I think that the teachers and parents are taking involved in the schools, and they'd rather have a voice in the schools. So this is the way they're going to do the voice. And it's a nationwide thing, Steve.
Well, it's a social media nationwide thing.
Yeah.
Now, social media is shutting down our schools.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Well, 17 minutes.
17 minutes.
That's for 17 people that lost their lives.
Do you think would they have let you do that back when you went to school, John?
No, I would have been expelled for doing that, which is what these kids should be. And I can't really, in a way, I can't blame the kids because, Tom's right. I mean, the powers that be on the left side of the spectrum have promoted this. Yeah. But the interesting thing will be, what do the administrators in Bradley County and Cleveland City Schools do? Do they punish these kids or do they allow this to stand? Because if they allow it to stand, they better get ready for more. Because they'll be walking out over every...
They're going to protest everything they can think of in the future. Let me tell you something. I was always, when I grew up in school, I was always looking for a way to get out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, a good protest is perfect.
We used to have pep rallies.
Well, pep rallies were organized, and they were after school. They weren't during school hours.
Not always. We did.
We did have a pep rally during school.
Let's don't let the facts get in the way of a good protest.
Is this a national pep rally they're having? Is that what it is?
But those are completely separate issues. The pep rally was in favor, in furtherance of a school activity.
The school spirit.
This is not. This is politics. To be honest, Cleveland High sent a group of kids over to Nashville to lobby to lobby against the transgender bathroom bill. So we took them out of school, bust them over there so that they could.
That's part of
lobby.
Education, though, isn't it?
Well, I guess if you think that political activism is an activity that we want to encourage, on that level during school hours.
You guys are kind of quiet.
I'm more.
Let me. This is how this.
I'm more interested. I'm more interested in what they're learning from it. I think I'm more interested in them at least examining all sides of the issue.
But they're not, Jeff.
Well,
that's the problem.
They may not be. That's what I'm trying to say in my social discourse here, though.
You know what they would have done in my era during this, in John's era probably? We'd had a moment of silence.
Well,
probably.
I'm not trying to pick on Jeff.
Or a prayer.
Jeff's in my era.
Yeah.
Jeff was 1 year behind.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
that's what's Tom.
I think my era might be before your era.
As was Franklin. Franklin Franklin graduated with Tom and I at Bradley Central.
So you went to Bradley. Where'd you go to school?
Bradley.
Bradley? 3 Bradleys? One
We're the
Cleveland
class
High.
of 81. John's the class of 80.
How come Bradley's not doing it? It's a national deal. How come Bradley's not doing it?
I'll have to ask there him you on that go. part, yeah. See, there you go. Maybe they'll have
So, in other words, Cleveland High School or Cleveland schools thinks it's okay, but county schools don't.
Here would be the question to really ask.
Yeah.
Is this the kids are doing it, or has this already been sanctioned? Is it saying that it's already been sanctioned, that it's allowed?
A national school walkout being planned Wednesday to draw attention to the issue of school safety. The national event is being organized via social media by a group called Women's March. Youth Power.
Look, I don't have it with me this week. I had it last week. Those are all funded by Soros and by Michael Bloomberg, and they're anti-gun groups. This is not about the issue. For example, David Hogg, I feel sorry for him. He was a student down there. He experienced this, but the national media are allowing him to spout inaccuracies and left-wing talking points right and left. And anybody that criticizes him, how could you criticize him? Well, look, facts are facts. You can be and I said this last week to Franklin, if you get a room full of people together who have all lost loved ones to cancer, that is a tough group of people, and they've all experienced something, and they have a perspective. But it doesn't mean they can solve cancer. They can't find the cure for cancer. No one would go to that group of people and say, well, you know what? I think you're the group that should be put in charge of curing cancer. And the gun violence is the same way. They're all victims, but it doesn't mean that they're going to cure gun violence. They don't have the solution.
What do you think's going to? I mean, what good's going to come out of this, and what bad's going to come out of it? Is there a better good than there is a bad that comes from this? A 17-minute walk out of school.
I don't think it's going to affect it either way. I really don't think it's going to.
I want my senior. I've got a senior at Cleveland High. I want her to stay in school. She needs to. So, Carly, stay in school. We'll talk about all the issues, and we'll give you another way.
That's another thing. That's another thing. It's optional. The kids can go out if they want to.
Are they going to go outside, or are they going to stay inside? I don't know.
I assumed it's outside.
Well, actually, Commissioner Blake just
Unless it was raining.
texted me, and Bradley County schools are on spring break this week. That's why we're not having the issue with them. So they're out. But here, I was looking for this, trying to find it. Baltimore, when they came back after Christmas in Baltimore schools, former Baltimore Raven Aaron Maben, who now teaches in the system, said that the temperature in his classroom was 40 degrees. He texted pictures of his students and coach trying to keep warm. So the superintendent closed 1/3 of their schools, allowed early dismissal at others, and then canceled all school after that, and said the problem was years of underfunding, poor schools, poor heating, poor insulation, and all. Now, that's despite the fact that Baltimore had $23 million in additional funding to fix this problem. They ranked 4th in per pupil expenditure in the nation, $15,005 in Baltimore City schools. 13 of their high schools had 0 students proficient in math. Now think about that for a minute. Even in the worst schools, you find 1 student proficient. 13 high schools in Baltimore had 0 proficiency. And in the elementary schools, 6 elementary schools had 0 proficiency. But guess what? She found $100,000 to bus the kids to this march that you're talking about in Washington, D.C., provide them with lunch, and on top of that, had T-shirts made for all of them. So 13 high schools, 0 proficiency in math, but they're able to bus kids down to D.C. for this anti-gun march.
There's a lot of weird things going on in our country right now. I tell you, there's a lot of weird things. Why in the world would she even think about doing something like that?
Because they're more interested in politics than they are. They had a GoFundMe site that raised $17,000 to buy space heaters for Baltimore City schools. $17,000. How many space heaters would $100,000 have bought? But what was more important? Sending these kids down to do the bidding of the left-wing social progressives.
All right. There's four of us. This is called the Republican Party in here this morning. We're having a Republican Party. All right, I want to take a vote right now. Should the kids be let out to go protest this for school?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
No.
No's have it. It passes.
So, Superintendent of City Schools, if you're listening, there's 4 no's for this. We're against you.
I'm sure that'll make a big difference.
Big impact.
Well, I think the problem with our schools right now, I mean, we're pushing this kind of social stuff.
Well, absolutely, we're
It's just
pushing
being pushed. It's just being pushed. Is that a call? Let's take a call this morning. Good morning, caller.
Steve,
Tell me about it.
you said last week for somebody to call in if they're tired of this Russian investigation bull crap. I'm going to be the first to say I'm sick of it.
Well, you and a lot of others, but I appreciate it. It is getting kind of sickening, isn't it?
Hashtag shut it down.
Yeah, I'm just taking a vote against the school walkout. I'm going to vote no for it, too.
Well, what's your opinion, real quick, in a few words? You just think it's not right, or what?
Well, I don't think it's right, really, because I don't see what good it's going to do. That's just my opinion of it.
Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, they could have taken a moment and had a prayer or done something and went on, and it would have done the same thing.
Well, discuss the issues in a class or something.
Right.
But discuss both sides. That's what I'm most interested in, is making sure that I don't hear the students that are being paraded on TV or radio espousing both sides of this issue. They have been fed what they're supposed to say, and they're swallowing it hook, line, and sinker.
Well, actually, there is a kid from the Florida school that's trying to, and he can't get on CNN. They've had him on Fox a little bit. Yeah. They won't let him on because he's not saying the party line.
But in CNN, they actually scripted stuff for kids to say. Is that correct?
They told me what to say.
They told them what to say and scripted it.
Stick to the script, son.
Stick to the script. So
stick to the.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks for calling. Well, I'm going to stir up something here.
Well, let me say something though. Those kids that went over to Nashville to lobby against the bathroom bill, we've never gotten an answer as to how that NPR reporter got on the bus. Now think about that for a minute. The NPR reporter was on the bus, and the whole problem that was caused is that she didn't very accurately, at least, identify herself as a reporter. And so we had 2 legislators over in Nashville that were secretly recorded talking to these kids. But my point is, that was a school bus. That was a school-sanctioned program. Even though I'm against them being allowed to go over there to lobby like that, it was sanctioned by Cleveland High School. We've never found out how that NPR reporter got on the bus.
Well, you talk about gender, you talk about schools too. Here's something in Delaware a couple weeks ago proposed that students can change their gender without the parents knowing about it. What's your thought on that? I mean,
well, we've talked about that like a year ago.
Change their gender
all over the country.
Change their gender. Is that
well,
what
they're allowing them to decide
in school without the parents knowing about it? I mean, where are we going with this? Well, I mean.
Oh, yeah, here's an interesting thought. You're going to let the children go outside. They're going to parade them outside and for 17 minutes to be sitting ducks for the next guy that's going to come through and be awake.
Well, 17 minutes, you know good and well, 17 minutes.
In the gun-free zone, right there in the gun-free zone, they're going to be sitting there. Just advertise it. Why don't you just advertise it? Hey, they're going to be out there.
Shooting fish in a barrel.
Well, actually, no, if you're doing that, that's where you get the truck, where you just run over them. By the way, Austin has had 3 explosions in the last week or 2.
Yeah.
Killing people.
Well, I was going to...
I'm just wondering how this gun control movement, what effect it'll have on explosions.
Well, John, let's talk about opioids. I mean, where'd that go? I mean, here we go. We have a shooting, but we're having hundreds of thousands of people dying across the United States.
Absolutely.
And that's in the back burner. You don't hear anything about that anymore. I mean, it's still there. It's killing a lot more people.
But it's like Chicago. Chicago kills more people in a week than we've killed. Actually, they kill more in probably 6 months than the total have been killed in school shootings probably in the last 20 years.
Where's the outrage there?
All right, I'm going to ask a loaded question, okay?
We have guns in here? I thought I left mine in the car. We supposed to bring guns?
I have a loaded question. Should kids be 21 years old to purchase guns? Should the age be raised?
No.
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 Now I'll say, I want to say this for assault rifle, I think you could put a 21 because you got a handgun.
Tom,
a handgun, you got to be 21 by a handgun.
I understand. I'm going to be mean to you. Tell me what the definition of an assault rifle is.
Something that has a clip that can shoot more than
My
10
deer
rounds.
rifle has a clip. A clip's sheet metal and a spring.
Yeah.
That's the technology you're banning: sheet metal and a spring.
Well, they're talking about clips and reduce them down to size to 10. I mean,
Well,
unless you're going to go
Are
out.
we talking about semi-automatic
Semi-automatics,
or automatic?
Bump stocks. I mean, there's a lot of different things.
Well, look, the bump stock, most of us don't have a big problem with, but that was the Obama administration that did that. The problem with the term, I can show you the actual dialogue from the early 80s when they were pushing for handgun bans. And they figured out, they actually said, we're not going to get handgun bans. We need something that's murky and poorly understood, and the term assault rifle is perfect for that. This was a trick all the way down the line. An assault, what happens is when people hear assault rifle, they think you're talking about machine guns. And so you go, oh, by the way, those have been illegal since 1937. No new manufacturers since 1986. For example, in Connecticut, when they passed their assault rifle ban, for example, Colt did, is take the pistol grip and the flash suppressor off the barrel, pistol grip off the end, and continued to sell that gun.
Well, I understand, John, but at the same time, when you have a assault rifle that, 50 caliber, something like it can only shoot through your wall. It can go through 3 or 4 more houses and clip people.
Well,
so I mean that's something.
But see that I'm not fussing, but right there to say 50 caliber.
Yeah.
That's about a $5,000 gun.
Well,
none of them have ever been used in any of these attacks.
Well,
no 50 caliber has ever been used.
And very few percentage-wise, people 21 or under have been the cause of these killings, these mass killings.
Handguns kill more people.
30-something-year-olds, 40-something-year-olds, for the most part. Now, we've had one, okay, and I just hate this reactionary legislation type stuff. We've had one dude down in Parkland that was under 21. Now we're going to change the whole world because of him. I don't believe in that. I think it's wrong. He was a wacko, and we had other things going on that we could have prevented that with. And to raise this age of buying a gun to 21 for these folks, I think is wrong.
How sick is that, boy?
I think the handgun. I think we should go back to the handguns. The handguns should be 18. If you're an adult, you're an adult. If you're not, you're not. Is my opinion.
Well, I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead.
Sorry about that, Bob.
That's all right.
Well, I mean, the problem for me, I am upset about this whole assault rifle thing because there is no such thing as an assault rifle. And Tom, you're actually arguing against yourself because all rifles, not assault rifles, all rifles in 2015, and I'm approximating, was about 342 murders with all rifles. Handguns were over 9,000.
Right.
And the reason I'm against what you're saying is that if we accept your argument that we need to do this for rifles, then it's just a logical conclusion that, my gosh, we've got to do it for pistols.
I think
Any rifle used in an assault is an assault rifle, I guess.
Well, the problem is there actually is no AR. The AR-15 stands for Armalite rifle. It's not assault rifle. It's not automatic rifle. It was a civilian
do you
gun.
agree that some rifles need to be taken out of that?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. I tell you what I did. In Rotary Club, I brought a old Russian rifle in. It's called an SKS. And I held it up. I said, this is pre-World War II rifle. Does anybody think this ought to be banned? And they said, nah, we're okay. That's an old rifle. Then I held up an assault rifle with a pistol grip and a big clip and all that and an adjustable stock on the back. I said, how about this one? Oh, absolutely. That needs to be banned. So, well, guess what? They're the same gun. I took the mechanism out of the old wooden stock. I put it in an $80 Capco stock with a pistol grip on it. and just popped the 5-round magazine out and stuck a 30-round magazine in, and it became an assault rifle. Now, my point to them was, I'll be glad to shoot you with the old one. I think you'll be just as dead with the old one as you will with the one with a new stock on it.
Well, why don't we move everything back down to 18? You put people in the military. You raised the drinking age to 21. Why isn't it 18?
Well, I probably would agree on that. And I'll tell you, my gut reaction was to go, well, okay, I'm all right with that. And then I thought just what you said. How can you ask a kid to go to Afghanistan or Iraq and defend his country?
Yeah.
And then tell him, oh, by the way, you can't own a gun.
I can tell you how to do it. They can own a gun if they're have been in the military.
Well, I will
and
say
professionally
this.
trained.
A lot of the options when they put this move forward did actually exclude people that have been in the military. But here's a problem with that. What do you tell the 20-year-old mother who's home alone with 2 kids that now not only can she not buy a pistol to defend herself, she can't have a shotgun or an AR?
Yeah. I tell her she better hurry up and go out and buy one right away before the law changes.
Actually,
I'm for shotguns, and actually, shotguns. We had the gentleman down here off of the what was his name, Jeff, from the gun shop down here, Warren, and he said that it's better to have a shotgun. If my oppose to have a shotgun by the bed versus a pistol, because when you shoot a pistol, 70% of the time, you're not going to hit that person. You're going to be when they break in, but a shotgun will spread it out. It won't penetrate through that one sheetrock wall where it will go into another room and hurt somebody. So his thing was...
But again, though, here's the problem with that. You just made an argument against the rifle ban, because if I want to kill a large number of people, I've said this for years, I would choose a 12-gauge shotgun, not an AR. A 12-gauge, 3-inch Magnum double-aught buckshot, each shell shoots 15 30-caliber pieces of lead. And I've got one right back there that holds 6 rounds just by itself in a pump. That's the problem. All of this goes after inanimate objects. It doesn't go after the heart and soul of a person, and that's where our problem is.
Well, I think everybody's just wanting to feel good.
That's it.
They want something to happen so everybody feels better.
The useful idiots want to feel good, but there are people behind this movement that are manipulating those people into getting something they want, which is power and control.
And a complete eradication of guns. They do want to take the guns away. Now, they're trying to do it one step at a time.
Somebody's trying to destroy America, and I think it started during the Obama regime.
I support the Second Amendment. People carry arms and everything. I really
Soros
do.
is trying to destroy
and there again, John, you're right. Once the liberty is taken away, you won't get it back. So you're very careful how we go about this and we step out on this platform.
Well, I mean, Tom, one of the things is if you go back 150 years, a 12-year-old was probably carrying a Colt 45 on his hip because he was an adult at that point.
Yeah. They got married at 14.
Are we going to get into that in the state of Tennessee?
What?
They got legislations out there right now. It's, I think, are you aware that a mayor or a judge can let a 13-year-old, 16-year-old under to get married to an adult in the state of Tennessee? Yeah.
Well, before we leave the gun issue, I want to just say that I think that we should determine first what's the age of adulthood. If it's going to be 21, it's going to be 21. If it's going to be 18, it should be 18. But if you're an adult, you should be able to have all the adult privileges. And
it's 18.
I think Jeff makes a good point, and politically, I was talking to someone yesterday that made this point, and I think this is maybe a good move for the Republicans. Fine. You want it to be 21 for guns? Let's make it 21 for everything. Let's make adult alcohol, everything 21.
I'm not for that.
Did we say
not for that?
And that's our point.
Yeah.
If you're not for that, why are you for this?
Yeah.
So let's take a vote.
Well, now keep in mind, these liberals are the same people that are saying a kid at 13, independent of his parents, ought to be able to decide to change his gender and start taking, reducing hormones. So these people are all over the map over when you're allowed to do something. So you can mutilate your body without your parents' knowledge at 13. You can get a tattoo at 15, but you can't own a gun until you're 21.
So
Even though you can go to Afghanistan and carry a
All right,
gun
let's
to
take a
defend all
vote.
of it.
Let's take a vote. I like what you said, Jeff. Should we need to figure out what age is an adult
Well,
age?
keep in mind that they now think that we're adolescents till we're 30 in this culture.
I was fixing to say at today's time, I'm not sure 21's old enough.
In some cases, it's true for some people.
18 or 21,
Well,
adult. Consider them adults.
18. I don't want to be 18 for me, but
Okay.
I think it's 18 too, but I also think that they're incredibly immature way past 18. But that's a different issue.
What's the deal with 18 versus 21? What's the problems now? Why are you 18 instead of 21? Let me ask you that, Jeff.
well, I guess it's just because it's been
Military?
it's been that way, and I guess it.
No, it used to.
I
When I
felt like
grew
I
up,
was
it was
adult.
21.
I felt like I was I was an adult at 18. I felt like I was an adult enough, and really that doesn't matter to me. Let's do it. Let's find some science or whatever, and let's just pick it. But then
Here's what I think.
Don't
Here's what I
discriminate.
think.
Don't discriminate against adults buying a gun. Don't discriminate against adults drinking. Don't.
I think what Jeff's saying is
anything.
you should be uniform in it. If you're going to say it's 18 for one thing, it ought to be 18 for
That's
everything.
exactly what I'm saying.
I think it should be 21 as an adult for everything, unless given parents permission. When I say that, a lot of parents wouldn't give permission, and a lot of kids don't have parents. So I think 21 should be the adult age for kids.
Well, what do you do legally? And when they turn 18, the parents is no more. They're not responsible for that child. That child's responsible for his own actions.
If you
They're
change it, it'd be
responsible on your
21.
insurance till 26.
What he's saying is, if you change it to 21, then the parent's responsible for them until they're 21.
Yeah.
It was 21 when I grew up. I didn't have a problem with it. The only problem I had with it is I had to sneak around to have a drink.
Look, the liberals don't want to discuss the impact that all of these social changes we've done over the last 40 decades have had on the culture. And that's the problem with some of this. If you say 21, or the parent doesn't want to be, you've got parents that aren't responsible for their kids when they're 14 and 15. And these same liberals that told us, these kids need to be turned loose and they need to be free to do all these things. Well, then when they join gangs and they get tattoos and they get on drugs, they go, well, gosh, somebody ought to fix that. The government ought to fix that. Well, no, the government's who turned the kids loose in the first place. We closed all the mental institutions, and now we wonder why we've got a homeless issue. We wonder why people are killing other people. Well, because we don't institutionalize crazy like we used to.
Trump says he's going to put back the mental institutions.
Well, I think we probably need them.
Now the Democrats saying all he's going to do is fill them up with us. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Backfire with Steve Hickson. We'll be right back after this.
You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. WOOP FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Flex160.com. Cheaper than a payday loan. Flex160.com. Title loans got you bogged down? Flex160.com. A better money solution. Flex160.com. Flex160.com. Flex160.com.
Tired of standing in line to cash your paycheck? Go to usmoneycard.com. The company doesn't provide direct deposit. Visit usmoneycard.com, the smart and safe alternative to carrying cash. We'll provide direct deposit for your prepaid debit card, or you can deposit cash anytime. Your US Money Card is reloadable and can be used wherever MasterCard is accepted. You never have to worry about overdraft fees. Spend what you deposit. So log on, load up, and love your US Money Card, the safe and smart way to spend. Visit usmoneycard.com for complete details.
You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. WOOP FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Flex160.com. Cheaper than a payday loan. Flex160.com. Title loans got you bogged down? Flex160.com. A better money solution. Flex160.com. Flex160.com. Flex160.com.
Tired of standing in line to cash your paycheck? Go to usmoneycard.com. Company doesn't provide direct deposit? Visit usmoneycard.com. The smart and safe alternative to carrying cash. Will provide direct deposit for your prepaid debit card, or you can deposit cash anytime. Your US Money Card is reloadable and can be used wherever MasterCard is accepted. You never have to worry about overdraft fees. Spend what you deposit. So log on, load up, and love your US Money Card, the safe and smart way to spend. Visit usmoneycard.com for complete details.
No dealers allowed.
Jackson Catnapper, family owned and operated in Cleveland since 1933, offering the best with over 70 styles of recliners, sofas, electronic lift chairs, full living room packages. Call Mike now at 961-7239 because Jackson Catnapper now offers sales to the public
every Saturday. That's right, every Saturday.
From 8 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon. Or call Mike at 961-7239. Or go see him
every Saturday
at 1911 King Edward Avenue, just across from the main plant. Jackson Catnapper, family owned and operated in Cleveland since 1933. 961-7239.
No dealers allowed.
Attention, Cleveland area creditors. Are you tired of dealing with debtors that owe you money? I'm Jeff Renfro, and I've owned and operated Financial Recovery, a debt recovery specialist here in my hometown of Cleveland for 18 years. We're a licensed and bonded Tennessee collection agency working for a wide variety of creditors, from commercial, manufacturing, physicians, dentists, attorneys, small business owners, to individuals. Look, any kind of business dealing with billing, charge accounts, or even return checks. I know your past due accounts are not a top priority for you, but they would be to me. Let me try to make it easy for you to make a change in the way you've been handling your accounts. There's no contract and no cost to you in most cases, as our fee of only 30% can be added to the balance owed to you. So whether you have hundreds of accounts monthly and need help with your billing and collection, or you're just an individual and somebody owes you money, let me help you. Give me a call at 400-5376 and I'll come by and see you. That's 400-5376.
Financial Recovery, a licensed and bonded collection agency in Cleveland, Tennessee, 400-5376.
Why would you put up with a heating and cooling system that cycles on and off when you can have quiet, true comfort, variable speed by Train? It runs at low speeds with continuous little adjustments to keep your home comfortable and quiet. It's always been hard to stop a train. Now, it's hard to hear one.
When you want an unconventionally efficient heating and air unit that keeps your home right in the comfort zone, day in and day out, nothing will do but a Train. To get the best Train service, call your local Train comfort specialist. Mechanical Systems, 336-5739. Keeping you comfortable is Mechanical Systems' only business, and they've been providing high-quality service and installation for more than 30 years. Mechanical Systems, 336-5739. That's 336-5739.
It's hard to stop a train.
If you need a little green, Lending Frog is making deals. He'll lend you cash on any kind of wheels. Borrow just a little, or you can borrow big. Lending Frog is a new financial gig. It's hip to hop into cash. LendingFrog.com is making a splash. Dig it, dig it. Dig it, dig it.
35 years. Think about it. March 1st, 1983. 35 years ago. That's when Economy Rentals was born. Happy birthday, Economy. Happy anniversary. Cleveland's first and now oldest rent-to-own store. And since March is their birthday and anniversary month, they're celebrating by offering you a washer and dryer combo for only $16.95 a week. That's right, $16.95 a week. As well as their flexible furniture packages to fit any budget. That's 2 rooms of furniture for only $39.95 a week. Your choice from living room, dining room, and bedroom furniture, including coffee tables, end tables, and more for only $39.95 a week. So, if you need help furnishing your place with furniture, appliances, TVs, electronics, and more, go see our friends at Economy Rentals this month and wish them a happy birthday. Serving Cleveland for 35 years. Economy Rentals. Rent to own, where we make it easy to own, is what they say. 901 Sahara Drive or 472-6105. That's 901 Sahara Drive or 472-6105. Don't forget they're closed Wednesdays and Sundays. EconomyRentals.net. EconomyRentals.net and on Facebook.
You're listening to Backfire with Steve Hickson on Whoop FM. Call 423-614-5553 to join in on the conversation. Now, back to Backfire.
Welcome back to another edition of Backfire with today's show titled The Republican Party. We've got all Republicans in here this morning. Donald Trump went to the wall to inspect the walls. What's your opinion of the walls? Did you get a good look at them?
I'm all for the wall.
Well, I mean, you know, if you trace back these MS-13, I've got another story about another brutal murder by MS-13.
Mm-hmm.
All of it goes back to 2013. And if you ask what happened in 2013, well, that's when Obama announced the amnesty, and we had that surge of supposedly children that rushed the border and crossed over. Well, a huge number of them. Now, I'm sure there's a valedictorian in the group here and there, but there's also a bunch of MS-13 gang members. So, yeah, you've got to have a wall. You've got to be able to control that border in some way.
I agree. The wall, I'm for that.
Migrants are vowing to cross it, to go over it. They're defying it.
Why would anybody be against illegals?
Well, look, they play this game all the time. Franklin, in one of our arguments a while back, said that immigrants are less likely to commit crime. Now, think about that for a minute. And I did, at the moment, I went, well, you know, I'll have to look that up. Well, it's true. Immigrants are less likely to commit crime. But guess what? Illegal immigrants are more likely to commit crime. They just had a report out of the Justice Department, and over 13% of all federal sentences are illegal immigrants, even though they're only about 3% of the total population, and that's not including immigration crimes.
But my question is, why are the Democrats
because they vote for them.
opposed to, let's take criminal
they don't care
aliens out of here?
Because they don't care about the criminal aliens as long as they get the votes.
Right. It's all about the power. That's all.
So it's votes.
It's
Do y'all agree it's all votes?
Well, it's votes in two ways. We actually know, despite what the Democrats say, illegal people do vote. But the bigger thing is the census, which is coming up this next year, because they argue, and we're arguing right now, the Trump administration is actually dealing with whether we allow illegals to be counted or not. Well, what happens is, if they stop counting illegals, the Democrats will lose probably a dozen seats at least.
How do we even let them get to the voting polls?
Well, no, you're not listening. They don't. This is not them voting. This is them being counted in the census.
Oh, you're talking about the census. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but what I mean is when they count them in the census. I
understand they're allowed to vote.
California ends up.
They get more reps. They get more votes.
Well, they get more U.S. House of Representative positions.
Right.
So the Democrats get votes either way. Even if they're not illegally voting, the fact that we count them in the census gives the Democrats more members of Congress.
Where is it they're signing them up for driver's license? Because if they have a driver's license,
a lot of states get Tennessee
they can vote.
issued them.
Up in Illinois.
Well, how does an illegal get a driver's license?
Well, in a lot of states, they allow it legally. They give it to them.
They have a special designation sometimes on the driver's license, but then there's several people have been caught bootlegging them and giving them, and you know, somebody in the Department of Safety or somewhere is giving them out by taking money under the table and letting them have
Tennessee was on the verge of doing it.
Well, I mean, what's the purpose of giving them a driver's license? So they can drive?
Well, here's the problem.
Is that
you want to know what the
So the illegals can drive in America?
Well,
they can drive across the border and back.
Do you want to have a discussion based on what we say it's about, or do you want to have a discussion based on what it probably is about?
I want to have a quick discussion on.
Well, the Democrats will say it's about safety. You know, if
But here's in the legislature. In the legislature, we debated this, and it was all about you would rather have a person out there with a license driving that could get insurance. You can't without a license. You can't get insurance, and you'd rather have them out there driving legally with insurance if they're going to cause damage than you would without it. That was the biggest argument for
So
giving
in other
them
words,
a
that's
driver's
to
license.
protect the person who's hit by somebody.
That's the claim.
The claim, yeah.
But here's the deal. if you're an illegal and you have a state-issued driver's license, it's a whole lot easier to get a state voter registration card.
Right.
Oh yeah, they give them to you right there on the spot at the Department of Safety.
Right.
Steve, I got
you
a
sign
question.
up to vote. You sign up for a driver's license. You sign up to vote right at the same time. Boom.
Steve, I got a question for you. You're talking about, is the U.S. better than China? Do you think the U.S. is better than China?
Is the U.S. better than China? Yeah, I live here in the U.S.
Okay, so why can't we have a wall that's 2,000 miles? China's got the Great Wall. It's over 5,000 miles.
Well, worse than that is Mexico, who has been pretty ugly denouncing our wall, is building a wall on their southern border.
We're not going to pay for no wall.
Yeah.
They're actually building one on their southern border.
Who do you think's going to pay for the wall?
I think Mexico's going to pay for it.
Mexico will pay for it.
They will pay for it.
They're going to pay for it in what we save in drugs.
All right, let me say something, though.
And that, and
I criticize the Democrats when they pull that BS accounting. That's BS accounting. Now, if you want to say, I don't disagree with you, that there's a lot of estimates that it will cut down on
tariffs
for crime. It'll cut down on a lot of things. But that's not what he said. He shouldn't have said what he said because he's not going to make Mexico directly pay for it.
He got your attention,
he might
No, he got my frustration for saying something that I knew wasn't going to
perhaps
be
he
true.
might withhold aid that Mexico's been getting that we
All of that he can do, and all
and
of that.
does that not count for
But
the
that's
Mexico's
not
paying
what
for it?
he was. Then he should have. Should have been more.
Let me tell you something. I'm
honest
smart
about it.
enough to realize when somebody tells me they're going to get them pay for it, there's more ways for them to have to pay for it than them
I
just
agree.
writing you a
That's
check.
exactly what I understood when I heard him say it
I
over and
don't
over and
disagree.
over.
I understood it that way. That's when you were still pulling for somebody
But
else for
here's the
president.
Mexico
problem.
wasn't going to write a check for it. Everybody knew that.
Here's what else
Everybody
I
knew that.
understood. I understood that if he got the nomination, the media would do exactly what they did to him over that statement.
What they do, help him?
Well, I don't know.
He got
whether-
elected,
I
didn't
don't
he?
know whether it helped or not. And in November, we'll see whether this worked out to all of our benefits or not. Because if he loses the House or he loses the Senate, we're screwed for a long time.
Well, that's historically that's going to happen. We better brace ourselves for it because that's what happens.
I'm going
in
to tell you
history.
something. We better get behind this man. Let him
I'm
get
behind
changed.
him.
Everything
I just
he can
wish
change
he'd be a
before
little
the-
bit more straightforward about some
He
of this
is pretty
stuff.
straightforward.
Okay.
I didn't assume when he said Mexico was going to pay for the wall, they was going to write us a check.
Okay.
He's the most straightforward president we've had in my lifetime.
Tariffs every other way. They're going to pay for it some way.
All right. Do you know the FBI director Comey is going to appear on The View April 18th?
Great.
Can't wait.
He was on 2020. He's got a book coming out.
Oh yeah.
What in the world are we doing with this darn Russia investigation?
Well,
Why is this investigation still going on?
The House
We got
Republicans
a
have
nut
closed it.
from the FBI getting on these crazy shows like The View, and it's amazing to me how America sits here and puts up this crap.
He's a darling. He first he cost Hillary the election. Now he's their darling. I don't get it. I can't.
Oh, by
explain
the
it.
way, did you hear Hillary?
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Did
we
you
have
watch
anything-
her walk down those, or try to walk down those steps?
No.
No, did you not see? She fell twice. She had
Yeah.
people holding
She's-
her
yeah.
both sides, and she couldn't walk down
she's
about a
got-
15-step flight.
Strained her hand.
She's got something wrong with her brain. I know that. It's not starting
I
to
tell
take
you
her
what,
walking.
Beth, when I saw her, anybody that wants to do it, Google this. Google Hillary falls on stairs. You'll find the video. But when I watched the video, I swear the first thing that went through my head is, oh my gosh, can you imagine if she was the president?
All right, just listen to this.
She's sick. There's something wrong with her that she's not disclosing.
If you look at the map of the United States, there's all that red in the middle where Trump won. Now, I win the coast,
Like
I
Tennessee.
win, Illinois and Minnesota, places like that. But what
bunch of
the map
idiots.
doesn't show you
Nashville, Memphis.
is that I won the places that
I'm
represent
the best.
2/3 of America's gross domestic product.
New York and
So
California.
I won the places that are optimistic, diverse, dynamic, moving forward, and his whole campaign, Make America Great Again, was looking backwards. You know, you didn't like black people getting rights. You don't like women, getting
Listen to
jobs.
this.
You don't
Listen
want
to
to,
this.
see that Indian American succeeding more
Where
than
does
you
this
are.
crap
Whatever
come
your
from?
problem is,
Wake up, America.
I'm going to solve it.
Wake up, America. That's what we got to get rid of.
Jessa, don't listen to her. You vote what I tell you to anyway.
Well, the funny thing about that is all those topics that she mentioned, it was the Republican Party that actually championed all those minorities, championed all those new moves. It was the Democrat Party that was the party of slavery, the party of Jim Crow laws, the party of keeping the immigrants down, not the Republicans. You know, for example, we spent the first half talking about gun control. Feel free to look up the history of gun control. They were Jim Crow laws to keep guns out of the hands of blacks. That's why the NRA is called the oldest civil rights organization, because the original fight was for black people. Matter of fact, Martin Luther King applied for a gun carry permit in Alabama because he was getting death threats, and they refused it. Now, can you imagine anybody in America at the time probably more threatened than Martin Luther King Jr.?
What do you think should happen? Jeff, you're an attorney. What do you think should happen with this investigation Mueller's got going?
Shut it down. It should have been shut down a long time ago.
Do you think Trump ought to fire Mueller?
No.
Well,
it's politically a bad
move.
I know. You're saying it's politically a bad move. Is it politically a good move for him to keep doing this?
No, I think it's bad for the country.
It's bad for the country. I think it's time to shut it down.
Damaging the country with this.
I think it's time to shut it down because all they want to do is run it to the next election.
I think that's true. I think it's time to shut it down as well, but I don't think it's time for President Trump to shut it down yet. I'm not saying that I don't think the time will come, but right now I don't. I think.
What's Mueller investigating?
Well, apparently he's gone from collusion to obstruction of justice. Now the theory apparently is conspiracy to defraud the United States of America.
Well, look, he's already proven collusion. He proved that Hillary hired the law firm that then hired Fusion GPS, that then paid Michael Steele to actually meet with government officials from the Russian Federation for dirt. That is collusion on Hillary's part. And by the way, there's a new book coming out, Michael Isikoff. These are liberals that wrote this book.
I love this.
And it actually shows that not only did Hillary funnel money through this, I don't remember the name, Birkin or Burt,
the law firm
to Fusion GPS, but Obama in 2012 funneled money through the same law firm to the same Fusion GPS for dirt on Mitt Romney.
Here's how you do it. Here's how you do it.
Here's what I think's going on right now. I think they've already found problems going all the way back into the Obama regime, but now they're just trying to cover it up because they don't want it to go any further. They don't want it to get to Obama. It's amazing. They're trying to just keep any investigations from turning and going towards the Democratic side right now. That's all they're trying to do.
Yeah, but the sad thing is, like what we just laid out, all of that's public. We all know that. The difference is CNN, all of the news media, they don't hammer it. If they wanted to hammer it, they could have Hillary in jail by now if they had really covered the facts.
How is the FBI director Comey?
Former FBI director.
Former FBI, yeah, former. He's going on The View to talk about some of this stuff.
Yep.
I mean, what?
Did you see Joy Behar's apology to Christians?
No, go ahead and let's hear it.
Yeah. Well, you can watch her do it, and she looks like the most sour individual in the world. Clearly, she was forced to do that. And she had to say Mike Pence, she called to apologize to Mike Pence. He went on Hannity and talked about it, so she was then, and he told her she needed to apologize publicly. But you can watch her do it. She literally looks as miserable as I've ever seen her. And that's
she
a
looks
big
that way all the
because
time,
she's
John.
pretty miserable looking.
She looks that way all the time.
I agree.
I mean, that's the craziest show I've ever seen. Every
Not
now
a
and
very
then,
happy individual.
I flip the channels and hit that show every now and then and just stop for a minute or two to watch it. It is absolutely off the wall
when
crazy.
Oprah said God actually talked to her, I think that was the turning point in this.
Well, timing is everything. Just imagine Comey going on to The View right after he announced that he was going to reopen the investigation against Hillary Clinton right before the election. Just imagine his reception that day and how he's going to be received coming up. And just ask yourself, same man, same facts, what's different?
And
I think Trump ought to go on The View.
Well, he's been on it.
I think he ought to go on it now.
By the way, we need to point out Hillary's little comments were made on foreign soil as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Now, what if somebody else did that on our side? What would we be charged with? Some sort of act violation of some sort?
What do you think should happen with the sanctuary state, California, right now? I think we ought to build a wall and just put them on the other side of it. But what's y'all's opinion?
I would probably block a good bit of funding for them.
Well, I was going to ask, federal funds, should we stop
they should
federal
absolutely do that, and I want it to try to weave its way through the Supreme Court as fast as possible. The United States versus California needs to be heard in front of the Supreme Court as soon as possible, and they need to be told by the Supreme Court of the land that you can't do that. That's what needs to happen.
Well, out there, they're so fired up, I don't think they'd listen to a court.
Well, they're not listening to a federal law.
I mean,
you think about that. Jerry Brown goes out there, and that mayor and the AG, they're actually arguing that they shouldn't have to obey federal law.
Why can't we arrest someone?
And you get into all kinds of problems, like when people come and testify before Congress and they lie. Congress doesn't have a jail. They don't have a sheriff.
Right.
It's a crime, but there's not. The big thing was, we used to expect people not to lie. And so even though you said, okay, we're going to make it illegal to lie, you didn't really have a mechanism in place because you never thought somebody would have the audacity to lie before Congress. But they do now.
And now, one that has been cited for contempt for lying to Congress is thinking about running for president in 2020.
The GOP investigation, after 14 months, they closed it down. The House, yeah. They said that there was no collusion. Now then, the Democrats, are they going to come out with their investigation?
Well, they don't know. They may come out with a statement as a reply, or they could write their own report. But the problem is, they make statements like they said, we found evidence of collusion. Well, what is it? Well, they won't say.
They can't tell you. I mean, how do we keep letting this investigation just continue on when they're not even investigating what it started from? They're not investigating collusion. Collusion was the investigation. Where is it? Why is the Mueller's not even investigating that now?
I just keep calling on some sensible Democrats. I know there's some around us, sensible Democrats, to finally tell their leadership to put an end to this. We are tired of this. This is hurting us. Stop it. And once the grassroots, if they would do that and tell Pelosi and Schumer and all those that are heading this charge, the Schiffmeister, tell them what you think, and they'll, they should do what you want to do because you are who they're representing. But
the problem, Jeff, is those Democrats, huge numbers of them, have become either Republicans or independents. And the grassroots in the Democrat Party right now are the crazies. They are the open borders people. They are there's 26 different gender people. That's who they are.
The Democrats have got a real problem in their party. They think we've got a problem.
Well, now look, this election yesterday in Pennsylvania, it's too close to call right now. The Democrat was slightly ahead. There is a spoiler in that election. There's a Libertarian that actually the Libertarian had over 1,200 votes, and the difference was less than 1,100.
Yeah.
So there is a spoiler. But my point is that Democrat ran against Nancy Pelosi, said that he was pro-Second Amendment.
Oh, I know.
Now, I personally don't believe him, but my point is...
He's a Republican Democrat.
Here's what happens. I've been there. This is exactly what happens. He can say all he wants on the trail. He cannot do it when he gets there, because if he does...
He won't be on a committee.
He will be ostracized. He will not have the fellowship of his fellow Democrats or anybody, because the Republicans aren't going to hold him. And he won't have any leadership capabilities. He won't have any committees that he wants.
He could switch and become a Republican.
He could, but that's not likely until they treat him so badly that, anyway.
They'll treat him bad.
By the way, that district's not going to exist in a few months anyway.
They have to do what the leadership says, or they won't get any goodies whatsoever, and they won't be able to be effective at taking any money home.
Well, here's the worst. Jeff was in the state senate, so I know he knows this too. just his very presence there. For example, when I worked in the Senate, Robert Byrd was the majority leader just by the number of Democrats that were elected. So even if you're a extreme conservative Democrat, the fact that you're listed as a Democrat allows you to have a Democrat leader. Well, guess what the leader does? He controls the agenda. So if he doesn't want an issue to come up for a vote, it doesn't come up for a vote. So you can be pro-life all you want. Pro-life never came up for a vote under Democratic leadership because the leadership was against it.
Yeah, I heard people saying they were interviewing people up in Pennsylvania, and some of the people that were voting that maybe had voted for Trump before were going to go ahead and vote for the Democrat in this election, saying, oh, I think Lamb will do what he says. He's going to stand up to Pelosi. I think he'll do that. That's bull caca. It's not going to happen. And that person and people that believe like that are fooled.
President Trump fires Secretary of State Tillerson. What's your opinion?
I'm fine. You know, one of the things about this, I think, if you go back to our founding, the early presidents, I think you really had a government that was the president was sort of the guy. Teddy Roosevelt.
Ran the show.
Watch Teddy Roosevelt.
The president ran the show back then.
He ran the show. I think we've gotten away from that, but that's also what's enabled the bureaucratic state. And so, you know, it doesn't bother me that much. He didn't agree with Tillerson on especially the North Korean issue and the Iranian issue. He said he wanted to have people in place that he could work with a little bit closer, and that's what he did.
I think he should have who he wants to on his cabinet.
Well, the left's going to say, I don't like the way he fires people. Does he fire him okay? Is he okay to fire him the way he did?
As far as I'm concerned, he's the president.
Yeah. I mean, well, there's insiders say that he actually did not fire him by tweet. But,
no, he didn't. They had talked about it for. And by the way, there's another thing that's not getting talked about. Tillerson was not very well liked in the State Department.
Right.
Now they're concerned about the incoming Pompeo, that he's much closer to Trump, and that may mean they're going to have a harder line because, frankly, the establishment is always more liberal. But they didn't like Tillerson.
What do you think about Trump's considering ousting the VA secretary now?
Well, he's not done a very good job.
He hasn't. I just don't understand what happens to people when they go into that
so much bureaucracy.
Now, I will say I read one thing I'm not thrilled at. There was a story that he was going to maybe move Rick Perry over there. And I have nothing against Rick Perry, but I've never understood why, if you have one vacancy and one disruption, why would you move someone from another department there and create two vacancies, two disruptions? I'd rather see him bring someone in from the outside and leave Perry where he is.
Are you a veteran?
I'm not, but I am a
veteran.
No, I'm not.
Look, this
I'm
is
a VA accredited attorney.
No, and let me tell you,
I'm the only
actually, I'm glad you brought that up
I
because
slept at the Holiday Inn Express last night.
especially people our age, you know, especially if you're involved in politics, they'll go, well, you haven't served. We came along in a period of time where there weren't any conflicts. You know, we were after Vietnam. Yeah. We were before Desert Storm. There weren't any conflicts.
Wait a minute, I'm going to tell you, y'all were in war.
We graduated in 1970 or 1980.
Star Wars. That's your
Well, I proudly, on my birthday, 18th birthday, I proudly went to the post office and signed up for Selective Service. Proudly.
Okay, you're eligible for a job. My opinion, we need to get rid of the VA hospital system.
Go to a regular insurance.
Why can't they go to Erlanger Memorial?
I agree. Well, we have pilot programs.
Why don't we just give them a veterans card?
There are pilot programs in place for that.
Get rid of all that. How much money would we save?
I think that's where we're headed. Yeah. I think that's where Trump wants to go.
Not only we save,
he's not going fast enough for me.
But the veterans will save because some of them have to travel to Nashville and stuff. I mean, and they stay overnight.
Well,
so it's a cost to them too.
You got some of them going to say, well, they won't handle the special cases the veterans have. But you know what? Let's get down to the special cases and we'll figure out how to handle them. It'd be a lot easier to do it that way than to try to keep doing it the way they're doing it.
No argument from me. Nope.
Well, nobody's even suggested this.
Well, actually,
I think
Republicans have suggested that for a long time.
He's taking a bite. Trump is taking a bite of the elephant one bite at a time. He's trying to say, okay, you can, if there's overcrowding or whatever, you can go to your own doctor or whatever. He's trying to get there. He can't do that in one fell swoop. That would never happen if he just came out and said, "Here's what we're going to do."
All right. Question. Last question today. Is Trump doing a good job as our president?
Excellent job. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We've had a great day today.
By the way, one little tidbit. Elizabeth Warren has refused to take a $99 DNA test.
I took that test.
I think we ought to get send somebody in to get a coat can.
And by the way, when I say she's refused, Chuck Todd asked her about it on the Sunday night talk show.
She said she wasn't going to upset her family's history of that what she's always
think about it, folks. Think about that for a minute. She's one of the leading contenders to be the Democrat nominee for president, and she said, I don't want to upset my family history. Now, never mind that my family history might be a complete
lie,
BS lie. I want to maintain it.
Well, now, where's Harvard in all this? Why don't they come out and say, yes, she used it to advantage or
we
not?
We know she did. Well, that's another thing. She keeps saying, I got no advantage.
Right.
She was listed as a minority hire and got promoted as a minority hire.
A new name for her, Pocahontas, we all know, but Liawatha.
All right, we've had a good morning this morning. We've had a good show this morning. I want to thank Jeff and Tom for coming in and setting in for Franklin. Two good Republicans for one Democrat. That's a pretty good swap, isn't it, John?
It is. Our pleasure. We love you, Franklin.
Hey, maybe y'all have to come in and we'll all team up on Franklin. I tried to get Franklin to get another Democrat to come in with him, because I feel like it's a little bit lopsided, but he can't find one that'll wake up that early.
Well, he's got Andy Brown. Andy Brown's done it before, hasn't he?
One time I think he came in.
Good.
All right, it's been real and it's been fun, but we've got to go. Bye-bye. See you next time.
You've been listening to Backfire with Steve Hickson, John Stanberry.